I'm Evan Medor, Content SEO Lead here at FCP Euro, and this is my fully built $9,000 Mini engine from my R53, and I might have blown it up. Today we're going to tear it apart and find out. I'm with Gareth Foley.
You all know me by this point probably. I do BMW stuff here, and Mini is related to BMW, although this engine is absolutely not a BMW engine. Pretty much has more in common with what would come out of a PT Cruiser than what would normally be in a BMW product, but this is an interesting one. You mentioned that this is a $9,000 engine out of an R53. That's not what these normally would be priced at. What makes this engine so special?
So this engine here is bored and stroked out to 1.8 liters from 1.6, fully forged internals, big valve head, upgraded valve train, everything.
The list is very, very short, but the price is very, very high. So yeah, you were coming down the downhill at Lime Rock last year at Circuit Legends. Looks like you had an injector fail, it leaned out, and then it's been misfiring or not running well on that cylinder the entire time. I think you said it has like, what, 50% leakage on cylinder 3?
Yep, so cylinder 3, we had a lean code. It was misfiring pretty heavily. The next time I ran it, it sounded like top end damage. Opened up the valve cover already. Didn't find any damage in there that I saw. So we're gonna dig a little deeper today and hopefully get to the bottom of this.
Okay, it sounds like you already effed around, so we're gonna go ahead and find out.
Yeah, where are we starting?
We're starting here on the back side of the engine. This thing, like I said, we literally pulled this out of the engine bay the other day, so it still has the long tube headers on the back. It still has the oil filter housing, oil cooler, intake manifold, supercharger. So we're gonna just get the accessories off this engine anyway, since they're gonna have to come off before we even look at what's behind the valve cover. So starting this back side here, we'll get rid of the oil cooler.
To detension the belt, the accessory belt here, it's really hard to do in the car. There's not a lot of space. CTA and other manufacturers make a special tool to do this. It's near impossible without this tool. And we'll show you how to do it. You can see there's a retaining hole there, a clip essentially, that you can slip an Allen key or another tool into. You release tension and that's all it takes.
And yeah, just imagine that with a frame rail right here and like maybe that much room.
Yep.
It's great.
You can, with the tool, you can do it from the top of the engine bay. It's tight. The easiest way though is to remove the fender liner and do it with the wheel off.
All right, let's get the supercharger out of there.
So this is an Eaton supercharger right here. It's an M45. It's pretty small. It's found on other cars. Oftentimes Honda owners will add this to their engines. On this configuration, it's supposed to spin max RPM at 14,000, that range somewhere, but with this engine build, we've been over revving it to about 16,500 the whole time.
So it looks like the bolts that hold the alternator in place also go through.
Okay.
So I gotta get that off. So those are 10s. And the dipstick is of course attached to this.
Yeah. All right, we have it loose.
So at this point, supercharger's off, all the accessories are off, and we can worry about taking the valve cover off.
This valve cover has already been off.
Yep.
It's very common issue that these valve cover bolts break. They're half bolts, half studs. A lot of people break them off and you have to drill them out.
It's got spark plug wires. I don't know what kind of ancient technology this is, but we'll pop those out. And it has just a central ignition coil.
Yep.
And it's a bunch of 8mm fasteners, which have already been loosened up by Evan. So I'll just do a couple on this side and I'll give it to you and you can do that side.
Something to note though, that these spark plug wires in these coil packs, or the ignition coil here, these do go bad quite often. Usually aftermarket ones, they are trash, so stick with OE, OEM. So this went in There was a Dodge, was it a Dodge Hornet that also got this same engine, the same configuration as the Mini, so the 1.6 liter supercharged right after that. Yeah,
Obviously had some laying around.
Yeah. Yeah, the factory at the time was set up to produce 400,000 of these a year, and by the end of the R53's production run, they were only producing 200,000 of them a year, so BMW quickly got out of that. Wait, what are we stuck on?
Just got to get past the
tubes.
So as we can see, this is a very simple arrangement. It's literally just a rocker shaft assembly. So single cam with rocker arms, 2 rocker shafts, 2 valves per cylinder, no variable cam timing, no variable valve lift.
Yep.
Literally, it's as simple as an engine as it could be, which is probably part of the reason why these things are so reliable compared to, let's say,
an N14.
the Gen 2 Minis. Sorry, Ben.
Emotional damage.
It's a very straightforward engine here. So we're gonna go ahead and get the rocker shaft out of here. That is going to allow us to make sure that the valves are closed. We'll just do another leak down test just to see if we can figure out where the air is going, whether it's coming out of the intake side, exhaust side, or whether it's blowing into the crankcase. So we'll do that. So here's your hydraulic tappets. So it's not a solid valve train, so it does adjust.
Yeah, a lot of times if the top end of your engine's noisy, these are commonly stuck. So
yep. And actually it has like a little articulation. You can actually see that there's like a ball that pivots. And this is your follower. So that rides on the camshaft. So cylinder number 3 is the one that has a problem. Spark plugs are obviously out, so sealing off the compression chamber just with my hand here. Obviously it's not going to be perfect leak-free seal. Yeah, number 3 is very easy to turn over, that's for sure.
Yep. All the rest were really good.
Yeah. So number 1. Number 2.
2 was a little bit easier. But
Number
nothing
3
like
just goes
3.
right over.
Yeah.
And then like number 4. Yeah, so I'm gonna put a leak down tester. Normally when you do a leak down test, you want the cylinder to be at top dead center. That's to make sure the valves are closed. Obviously we've taken the rocker shaft assembly off, so all the valves are closed, so we can just go down the line. One thing I'm gonna test for on number 3, since that's the problem area, is to see if there's a difference between the bottom or the top. Just curious to see, is it like a cylinder wall problem? Is it a valve problem? Basically leak down test, we have a quick social video we did on that explains why you would want to do the test. No point doing a compression test if you know you're leaking a significant amount of air somewhere in the engine. I just want to see where that air is leaking. If it's coming out of the intake or exhaust valves, and we know we might have a valve problem. If it's going past the piston, it's going to the crank, then maybe it's a sleeve issue since this is a sleeved engine, right?
Yep, it's sleeved.
So yeah, get the leak down tester and see what we can find. So we got a leak down tester on cylinder 3, and let's see where we're losing. So you got 100 PSI going in, about 30% leakage. Quite a bit of air coming out of the exhaust on the backside here.
Nothing out of intake.
Massive amounts of leakage on cylinder 3 on the exhaust side. So maybe a bad valve seat. Maybe it burnt a valve when it leaned out.
That could be.
So no matter what, the head's coming off at this point, we know that much. Before we can do that, we're gonna have to go ahead and do some other stuff here at the front of the engine. So get the harmonic balancer off. We're gonna have to remove our, I was gonna say intake cam sensor. That's our intake and exhaust cam sensor because it's only one cam. Got a couple plugs here that gain access to the timing guides, and then we also have our timing chain tensioner here on the side. There's our hydraulic tensioner. There's your schmooze all over the floor. Yeah, these access plugs, they give you access here to the top of the guide rails, which we need to loosen those in order to undo the timing guides. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and pull the timing cover off. which is going to give us access to the timing chain and everything else. I actually want to leave the sprocket on the camshaft, so I'm going to go ahead and just do it this way. Also, the oil pump is integrated in the block behind here. I'll kind of show that in a minute, but it's all 10mm screws, so we'll just go ahead and tap these off.
It's okay. It should just be a couple drips.
Yeah, there's your oil pump right there, integrated into the timing cover.
Wow.
All right, so there's our timing guides that we now have access to. I mean, again, very simple design in here. We'll be able to unbolt the guides and pull them up.
Ooh, came right off.
So the numbers, the 1,
5, 4,
so
3, 2, 1.
yeah, so the 1, if you're looking from the exhaust side, that's where the numbers are. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start from the outside, work our way in. So I'm just gonna do a little cross, 1, 2, 3. Interesting, these up here are just standard, so.
Ooh, oh, yeah. Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh, yeah, I think there's some kissy kiss there.
Oh boy.
All right.
That just got interesting.
Yeah, so injector number 3 was clogged. That's what they said when they cleaned it.
Yep. But they cleaned it and the flow rate's good now.
All right, so this thing ran lean and there's just a lot of soot and debris. I mean, the problem here was oil getting in there, like from the scoring of the cylinder wall, and then that caused the injector to get clogged, and then it ran lean, and then it did. Because here's the thing, right? There's a lot of pitting on the exhaust valves, and the seats are just covered in stuff, which is why these weren't seating correctly or sealing. I mean, normally, you know, you would see, like, that should be a nice smooth surface, and it's just covered in this black soot. So that kind of explains, and also if I'm running my finger along the edge of the seat here, I can feel little.
I don't know if that's pitting or just buildup.
I mean, there's definitely some pitting there. So yeah, I don't know. There's something going on with it, but then also you could just see this pitting in the combustion chamber there, like right over the head. You could see that same marks again. Weird. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pull the piston for number 3. I'm not sure if the piston got hot, started dragging on the cylinder walls, and then that material got moved around. But you can see that pitting again on 3, which is the cylinder that ran lean.
Oh yeah. Ooh, I don't even want to look. Yeah, those are pieces of the rings falling off.
Well, I think that explains that.
Yeah. Oh, would you like some ring? You're the only one in my life getting a ring.
Here.
Don't show this to my girlfriend.
Piston definitely started to come apart. I think that's pretty obvious. And that portion of the piston was bouncing around inside the combustion chamber and did all sorts of damage. That's what all the pitting is. And then obviously the piston ring was probably dragged. I mean, holy crap.
Yeah, that scored pretty nicely. And that's why the side of the sleeve looks the way it does.
But shockingly, not really any bearing damage. I mean, like usually if it's leaning out and pre-igniting and all that kind of stuff, you would expect there to be like some binding here. So obviously this event didn't happen that long. It wasn't like a prolonged thing. It was very instantaneous and the damage was done. Plus, you know, the damage on the piston. I mean, there was definitely some blow-by happening into the combustion chamber with that. There's no doubt about that. I'm not wondering, to be honest with you, I'm not wondering if the piston ring broke first.
And then it caused all these issues.
And then because like I'm seeing like right here, it looks like that's probably where it was dragging against the cylinder wall.
Why would a ring break?
Just over expansion from heat. So like, you know, you're supposed to have a piston ring gap.
Yep.
And the piston ring gap, part of that gap, like there always has to be a gap because you need some blow-by ability, but also the piston rings expand with heat. And the bore is only so big, right? So with additional heat, the piston ring expands more and then it can butt against itself. And then that material has nowhere to go. And if it kind of comes out of the groove a little bit, I mean, that's just crazy though. I've never seen something like, I mean, dude, even part of the piston ring is embedded in the piston in the ringland.
So just from running lean, created enough heat.
I mean, you can see where it like actually pushed itself.
Yeah, up into it. Huh.
I mean, that explains the damage on the cylinder wall too.
Yep. Hopefully that's contained to the sleeve. That'd be nice. So we ended up finding our problem, and it's worse than I'd hoped. Clogged injector on cylinder number 3 caused it to run very lean by the looks of it. Got very hot, and we broke a ring here. I don't know if you can see that, but we broke that. It embedded itself in the piston itself, in the top of the piston, in the head. It's a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lesson here is I think fuel injectors are often overlooked. They can get dirty if you have an injector that's not 100% or you're noticing some kind of power loss on a specific cylinder, depending on your vehicle's ability to diagnose contribution of power per cylinder. I think injectors are an often overlooked maintenance item on a lot of cars, and especially on a track car engine that's being pushed or has a higher demand for the fuel system. It's one of those things that you probably do want to pay some special attention to. In this case, one bad injector was enough to do that. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And that's unfortunate, but it's what happens when you want to go fast. So thank you for watching this episode of Teardown. This, of course, happened to be on a Gen 1 Mini. And hey, we have a Gen 2 Mini on the way shortly, unfortunately, related to another one of the cars in the corral here of FCP Euros. So definitely want to hit subscribe to get notified for that one. If you have any questions, comments, or if you ever seen anything like this, go ahead and drop it in the comment box below. We'll definitely be happy to see what your thoughts on that are. And as always, we'll see you for the next one. Thanks for watching.